Emotional connections.
Look, Alana.
Infants are emotional beings, hardwired for communication with their mothers and fathers right from the beginning. And relationships between infants and parents have all the key ingredients that children will use in their relationships for the rest of their lives.
Kick your legs a little. You can kick your legs.
To study this, in this sequence, 2 cameras have been used to observe parents and babies interacting, in order to clearly see the close relationship between babies and their fathers and mothers. For babies, the human face is one of the most fascinating objects in the world, especially the face of a loving parent. Here, Eric, the baby, watches his father, Adam. Eric is learning how his actions have an effect on Adam. And through this, Eric is also learning that he is an important element in the world, a being who not just responds, but also affects others.
Are you just going to smile and laugh at me?
Notice here that even though Jennifer, the mother, is more skilled at verbal communication and has more control over her body than her baby Tegan, she still takes cues from Tegan. They each respond to the other so quickly that it can become difficult to know who is leading and who is following in this dance of emotion, sound and movement. For babies, this kind of interaction is like food or air. It's vital for their ability to learn to relate to others, to feel important and emotionally connected in the world, and even for the growth and normal development of their brains. Researchers know how important loving, fun and spontaneous communication is for a baby by examining what happens when it stops. When Adam looks away and stops engaging with Eric, even briefly, Eric quickly becomes worried, confused, and tries to recapture his father's attention and love. After a time, Eric tries to soothe himself by sucking on his thumb. All babies need to find ways to soothe themselves when they are alone or upset. But babies who receive very little loving attention can turn inward and have difficulty learning to trust others in close relationships. Imagine how alone and upset a baby would feel if their father or mother was always withdrawn, which can tend to happen if a parent is depressed. That's why it's so important for parents, mums and dads, to get help when they are feeling depressed or anxious for long periods of time.
Of course, no parent can be available all the time when their baby is awake, and no baby could take all that interaction even if the parents were available and willing. It would be too stressful and overwhelming for the infant.
Wow.
In fact, babies tend to shut down after too much stimulation. They can become quiet briefly or even go to sleep. If a baby is not able to slow down and take time out from the input around them when they need to, they can become fussy and irritable. Babies depend on their mothers, their fathers, and other key carers for their safety. And we see this clearly when we introduce a sudden change in the environment, like loud music. Like all other infants, Tegan turns to her mother, Jennifer, to check her response. Jennifer's joyful reaction, continuing their play rather than showing alarm, helps Tegan to realize that the situation is safe. Over time, Tegan will learn how to respond to a range of people, events and situations from both her parents. Even though she will check directly with her father and mother less and less as she gets older, she'll still carry their reactions within her as a guide to how to approach life.